Hello and welcome to this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. On this week's presentation, as always, we bring you highlights of the activities of Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa for week ending March 27th. As we can see in that picture in the background, Minister Mustafa has been out and about. It has been a rainy week. We've had unusually heavy and prolonged rainfall. It has been causing some problems for residents and farmers alike. And so, Minister, in his capacity as being the person responsible for the agriculture sector, has been out and meeting with farmers and in Georgetown with all the stakeholders to ensure that all the systems are in place to mitigate against this unusual amount of rainfall. I'm told that in Cane Grove, in a 24-hour period, a total of more than 6 inches fell. Now, our drainage capacity is for 2 inches in 24 hours. Over the years, perhaps that coefficient has been increased somewhat, but still not enough to cater for the 6 inches and 5 inches of rainfall in 24 hours that we're seeing recently. Again, this problem is further compounded by the fact that people have been throwing garbage into the sewage, the waterways, and of course it has been going to those pumps and clogging up the system. Again, if the water cannot get out of the internal drains to the secondary drains and out to the Atlantic, then of course we will be having problems of water accumulation on the land, leading to flooding, of course. Residential and farmlands equally affected. So, these and more on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture.
What's up?
Hey, everything good?
Not really, boy. I thinking, as a farmer, I need to know exactly when to plant, what to plant, and how to deal with the problem as soon as it show up.
You're joking, right?
I should tell you,
Tell me what?
Ministry of Agriculture spearheaded the development of a mobile app called Farmers Connect.
Farmers Connect?
Farmers Connect is a mobile application initiative championed by the Ministry of Agriculture in alignment with the Government of Guyana's strategic vision for public service digitalization. The platform offers the following services: check weather updates, check rainfall, temperature, and wind updates from the Guyana Hydromet to plan your farming and reduce risks, request extension services, quickly request technical support from the Ministry of Agriculture and related agencies without having to visit an office, report flooding and locate draining and irrigation equipment like pumps and sluices to help prevent losses, check market prices, view daily prices for products across regions and markets to make smarter buying and selling decisions. Use AgriLink AI. Upload photos of your crops or livestock to the AI farming assistant for instant feedback and advice. Educational content. Explore the library for farming guides, tutorials, and educational documents, including various manuals. View upcoming events and seminars. View upcoming training sessions and workshops, and set reminders to stay on track. Check soil and crop suitability. Use the soil map to find soil types and the best crops for each of the 10 regions. To get the app, search Farmers Connect on Play Store, Apple App Store, or easily scan the QR code. Then download and install. Use mobile number to sign up and create a secure password for data protection. Sign in and explore the dashboard. This is where you can request extension services and support, view educational content, and monitor real-time information.
Boy, I downloading Farmers Connect app right now.
Farmers Connect, empowering agriculture through innovation.
Farmers and agro-processors, the Guyana Marketing Corporation is here to help you thrive. Our Agribusiness Development Unit offers comprehensive training for agro-processors, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills to succeed. Need advice on your agro-processing facility? We've got you covered, with expert guidance to optimize your operations. From generating nutritional facts to developing new products, we provide the services you need to enhance your offerings. Stand out on the shelves with our label design and packaging material services, making your products attractive and market-ready. We also create market linkages, connecting you with the right buyers and markets to expand your business reach. Are you ready to take your agribusiness to the next level? Contact the Guyana Marketing Corporation today. The Guyana Marketing Corporation, cultivating growth, empowering success. Together, let's grow Guyana's agricultural future.
We begin this week's presentation with news that a delegation from Barbados, headed by that island state's Minister of Agriculture and Food and Nutrition Security, Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, met with Guyana's Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa for what has been described as fruitful and wide-ranging talks. Areas of discussion centered on mutual interest and continued collaboration to advance food security and regional sustainability within the agriculture sector. One of the main areas discussed was the success of the Blackbelly Sheep program, through which Guyana received 1,000 head of Blackbelly sheep from Barbados. Minister Mustafa shared with his Barbadian colleague minister that since the program was launched, significant progress has been made, with the national herd exceeding 3,000. That's 3,000 in offspring from the original 1,000. He also disclosed that the crossbreeding component of the initiative has also commenced, as the Guyana government advances efforts to develop a regional brand aimed at reducing the importation of mutton from New Zealand.
So we have 3,200 that are in our farm. We have the other rams them that would have been slaughtered, right? That people would have bought. Rams. We have close to about 2,000 farmers, right, Dr. Waldron, would have already benefited from breeding rams. But the farms them that we are building, in terms you will visit some of those farms and you will see also our farm that we have at Manrico, how we are doing it. We have already started now with the crossbreed. In terms of building that breed that we want with the Guyana and the Barbados thing. I think they already have a lamb, and now is the lamb in season. Hopefully by the time we get back we can have some more lambs. Right? So generally, in a nutshell, summary, that is our program. That is what we have been doing. I don't know if your predecessor would have briefed you, but I think between Guyana and Barbados, we have the most robust and active program carrying out.
The officials also discussed other ongoing collaborations between the two member states, including the Shade House program, the Regional Food Hub Initiative, the Regional Ferry Service, and the Brackish Water Shrimp program. Also this past week, Minister Mustafa sat down with a team of investors from Panama to discuss opportunities for revitalizing palm oil production in Guyana as part of the government's broader push to expand and diversify the local agriculture sector. During the engagement, discussions focused on potential investments, modern production techniques, and the establishment of a sustainable and competitive palm oil industry that can contribute to value-added production, job creation, and increased export earnings. Minister Mustafa emphasized the government's commitment to creating an enabling environment for investment, noting that strategic partnerships of this nature are key to unlocking Guyana's agricultural potential and strengthening food and economic security. A partnership between the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, NARI, and a local farmer in Lethem is seeing the realization of a 5-acre trial plot of onions. A preliminary harvest is already on its way to market. The partnership is with local farmer Christopher Moses at the Rupununi Agro Farm in Manari, Lethem, in Region 9. His Excellency President Dr. Irfan Ali has indicated that the government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, will continue collaborating with farmers in Regions 8 and 9 to expand agricultural output in 2026. He has emphasized that both regions have the potential to significantly increase production of both traditional and non-traditional crops. A sample harvest of Cibola andromeda has been conducted. That's the variety of onions being grown, with the full harvest expected between April 10th and 15th. The 5-acre plot is expected to yield approximately 70 to 80 tons of onions. Consumers can soon look out for locally produced onions in supermarkets across Latham. Heavy rainfall across the country, which began early in the week, has been engaging the attention of Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa and the Government of Guyana, following an announcement by the Hydromet Service of the Ministry of Agriculture that Guyana would be experiencing more than 6 days of intense rainfall.
Yes, yesterday we put out a statement. Hydromet put out a statement to the Ministry of Agriculture advising the public about the heavy rainfall, to expect heavy rainfall in the next week. From today, I asked the head of the Hydromet, Dr. Cummins, to monitor. We're collecting data right across the country to either show that we have had excessive rainfall in last night, yesterday, than any other March so far, than any other day in March. So we are here, we are looking to ensure that all our systems are in place, all the pumps are working, sluices are working, canals are cleaning, but we are encountering some difficulties where residents continue to throw these garbage in the drainage canal. I think that they have to desist from doing that. That is putting a strain on our system, clogging up the pumps, clogging up the sluice doors. So these are some of the problems that we are facing. I'm hoping that good sense will prevail and they can work along with their local NDCs and RDCs to ensure that they minimize this issue. But the NDIA, I've instructed the head of the NDIA, Dr. Lionel Wordsworth, to continue to monitor and put our system in place so that we can try to minimize flooding if there is any as much as possible.
Since then, intense rainfall has inundated lands across the country, causing anxious moments for the nation's farmers and homeowners, especially those in low-lying, flood-prone areas. But according to Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, drainage infrastructure across the country are all in operable condition and ready to be deployed in the face of heavy accumulation of rainfall.
So we are here at the Lindale pump station. We have visited a number of pump stations and sluices this morning. We have a special team that was monitoring or that are monitoring the situation in and around Georgetown and around the country. What we have noticed that over the last 24 hours we have had excessive rainfall. For example, in Georgetown we have over 3.5 inches of rainfall in a 24-hour period. And across the country also, for example, in Kingsgrove area we had this morning, it was recorded 145 millimeters of rainfall. That shows the intensity and the high amount of rainfall that has fell over the last 24 hours. We have special teams around the country monitoring the situation. Over the last 24 hours, we have our special team in Georgetown. All the engineers in Georgetown are out in the field monitoring, checking to see that sluices are operable, pumps are operable, canals are clean. And to our surprise this morning, I was shocked when we visited the Cowan Street sluice. The sluice was closed, although the tide was very low. And that shows that there is some serious problem with the city council because they are not monitoring the situation. And we have experienced that issue over the last few years in and around Georgetown. For example, the NDIA themselves will have to sometimes have to send operators to operate these pumps. So I am calling on all responsible agencies that we must take this issue seriously. We must continue to monitor the situation. The rainfall, according to our Hydromet office, the rainfall will continue. We are monitoring it and we are working around the clock to minimize flooding. The NDIA team will be continue to monitoring the situation around the country. But this shows also that in the city where we could have drained the water more intensely, for example, many persons would have known that the sluices are draining the water faster than pumps. And we have more cubic being drained from the sluices than the pumps. And to our dismay, that is one of the main arteries in Georgetown. The sluice was closed and it was inoperable this morning that we went. It was not working this morning. And this brings me to the point that what is the purpose of the city council in alleviating people's problems. I have since made contact with RDCs and NDCs around the country We have the regional chairman and the REOs and other DNI officials are around the country monitoring the situation to ensure that all the systems are working. I want to assure members of the public that we'll continue to monitor the situation. We'll continue to ensure that all structures are operable, all the equipment are operable, and we'll ensure to see as much as possible that we minimize flooding in and around Georgetown and around the country.
By Saturday, the intense rainfall had taken its toll on lands across the country. Minister Mustafa and team visited one of the hardest hit communities, Cane Grove, where he engaged with affected farmers and residents on the interventions that have been immediately initiated to bring relief.
Part of Mahaika, Supply, Trashaven, and also Cane Grove. And we have here 3 pumps. The capacity is 200 cubic per pumps. So we have 600 cubic, 600,000 gallons per minute. And what we are doing now, because of the intensity of the rainfall over the last 24 hours, this area here would have received the highest rainfall, recorded rainfall in the country, 145 millimeter rainfall. That is just about 6 inches, around 6 inches of rainfall fell here over the last 24 hours. Because of the high intensity and the high water level, we are putting an additional pump here this afternoon. We are mobilizing. So in another 12 hours, you'll have another pump here to boost capacity here. Besides that, the farmers have asked that we help them in the cultivation area. Since advised that the NDIA mobilize with the chair, the NDC chair, they mobilize these tractor-driven pumps at the background so that they can help the farmers to drain their land. But as I said, one of the common issues around the country is garbage in the canal. I walked through just now at Belmont, Mahaika here, and the canals, them are blocked up with a lot of garbage being thrown by residents, water and other garbage being thrown in the water. This is very serious and it's hampering the flow of water. I just advise and ask NDIA to put in emergency work to clear the entire canal with all this garbage. So I hope that the NDC, I have here the chairlady from the NDC here with me from Cane Grove, they can work the area there to relieve the ADC. I'm hoping that if we have a break in the weather, which we can ensure that the water recedes, a lot of water recedes. So I'm hoping that as I'm speaking here, all the farmers who are here, I think they are working closely with us to ensure that we resolve this situation. I am hoping, I'm very optimistic that we can drain this water as early as possible so that crops, especially rice, crops will not be. I'm working on that. And NDIA, as I said this morning, we have teams in various parts of the country. We've been working around the clock for the last 3 days, monitoring the situation, and especially places like Georgetown and other low-lying areas. And also sometimes when you go into areas like Georgetown, some of the sluices that falls within the responsibility of the municipality, the city council, they are not operable when they have to be operated. So these are situations that we are faced with, but the NDIA and the Ministry of Agriculture, with the other agencies of government, we have been finding out. A majority of the cabinet members are out in the field looking at various situations, how we can bring relief to residents across this country. But we have seen for the last 24 hours a high level of rainfall that fell in the country. And I said that for the March, this is the first March we are seeing this kind of rain. Hoping that the situation can ease in the next few hours so that we can drain.
All of Saturday, Minister Mustafa and other ministers of government have been out and about visiting flooded communities, checking on the operations of pumps and sluices, ensuring that all are working as they should. Farmers of the Mahaika Maikoni communities have welcomed the interventions of Minister Mustafa.
My name is Hector Prasad, currently the Vice Chairman of Cane Grove NDC. As a result of the heavy rainfall, we have high waterways which affect the residential area, and as well as the rice farming area as well. Early this morning we were on the ground doing some scope of what the flood looked like, and it was heavily flooded throughout all the areas. We are so appreciated to have Minister Bindi was here earlier this morning. We have some machine on the ground working, and then somewhere along the line, Minister Zulfi called us and said that he's going to be here in King Grove for a visit as well. We as the people of King Grove, we are so grateful for this help. Look, the rice especially, we are like 50% of rice harvested, but they remain still underwater. We may not be able to save all this rice, but with the help of these pumps that Minister promised us, we are sure that we're going to have some relief with this water. We are so thankful for all these visits. As for the help that we are receiving from the Ministry of Agriculture and the government, we did appreciate the subsidies, fertilizer, crop insurance, the subsidy of paddy as well. Those things might not be major contribution to our life, but it will assist us. It will assist us in some way or the other. And we continue looking forward for these kind of support from the ministry and from the government as well.
Stage Kumar Mohan, I'm a rice farmer of King Grove. Due to the extremely heavy rainfall for the past few days, there's a lot of flooding going on in the area, and a lot of farmers have lost their crops and are losing their crops right now. And today the Minister of Agriculture has come on the ground to hear farmer concern, check on the pumps, make sure everything is going good. And we as farmers are extremely happy for him to come here and get a hands-on idea on what the fields look like, what the farmers are expressing and their concerns. And he raised something about the insurance, the crop insurance, which is gonna assist farmers into cushion farmers' expenses into their losses and what's not. It's gonna help them with the insurance. And he explained that he's here for the farmers.
My name is Riyad Bacchus, rice farmer from Strathaven, King Grove. At this time with the heavy rainfall, we are in a crisis. Thanks very much to the Minister and his team, the government as a whole, to respond to us here and try to see what assistance we can get from them. At this time, we also would like to thank all the farmers who are out here hearing their concern, and we know for a fact the government is going to assist us. They are here on the ground, the Minister and his team, and we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
My name is Deolal Duki. I'm a farmer for close to 40 years. And what the government is doing with rice industry, they're doing a fabulous job so far. But especially now, I think they set an example for insurance. So they insure the crop in case of flooding or drought and we lost the crop. The insurance could compensate the farmers for the expense, and pay them back for all the expense for them go through and compensate them for the crop, which is very, very good. The government, I think, they set that, and that is very good. But so far, PPP government is doing a wonderful job, wonderful. Being no other government can do what we do in this country, Ghana.
In regions 2, 3, and 6, the interventions have been the same, with additional pumps being deployed throughout the affected communities, especially in rice-growing areas, where rice crops are being threatened, that is, rice that is ready for harvest in a matter of days.
Calling all farmers. Your registration with the Ministry of Agriculture promotes inclusivity and equity in our agricultural sector. By registering, you ensure that marginalized groups have equal access to resources and support, empowering everyone to thrive in farming. Together, let's build a more inclusive and prosperous future for agriculture. Register today and join us in shaping the future of farming for all. Contact the Ministry of Agriculture Extension Officer in your area and become a registered farmer and be part of the agriculture revolution. A message from the Ministry of Agriculture.
Guyana's government is committed to involving youth in agriculture through innovative initiatives like the Agriculture Innovative and Entrepreneurship Program. Launched in 2021, this program introduces youth to climate-smart techniques and high-value crop production. Over 300 shade houses have been constructed, empowering young people to grow crops like carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower. In 2023, Guyana expanded hydroponics farming, engaging over 300 youths in cultivating diverse crops from local and regional markets. Promoting agricultural science in secondary schools is also key. Investments in school farms, shade houses, and resources like chickens and aquaponics training enhance agricultural education. Through these initiatives, the government ensures youth are at the forefront of agricultural development. Join us in building a sustainable and prosperous future in agriculture. A message from the Ministry of Agriculture. The National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute, NARI, is responsible for protecting Guyana's agriculture through effective regulations. One of our key functions is the granting of import permits for agricultural products. What is an import permit? Well, an import permit is a mandatory document required for bringing regulated agricultural commodities into Guyana, including fruits, vegetables, and even items like furniture and stones. This permit specifies the conditions under which these items can enter Guyana, ensuring they comply with the National Plant Protection Organization Act. Why is this necessary? Import permits protect our agriculture from pests and diseases. Some commodities may appear safe but can pose a serious phytosanitary risk. NARI conducts risk assessments to ensure that only low-risk products are allowed in. Without these checks, harmful pests could damage our local crops and ecosystems. So when should you apply? Import permits are required every time you plan to bring in regulated items. The process begins with registering with NARI's National Plant Protection Organization. Forms are available on our website and can be submitted via email. Once approved, your permit is valid for 3 to 6 months, allowing you to import items in full or in parts during that time. What happens if you don't have an import permit? By law, if an importer fails to obtain a permit, the shipment can be seized and destroyed, treated and released, or re-exported to country of origin, depending on the level of risk. This ensures that Guyana's agricultural integrity remains intact and free from potential threats. How do we stay updated on risky products? NARI works with international partners like the IPPC and the World Trade Organization to stay informed about threats to agriculture. This global network helps us manage risks and update regulations. After receiving a permit, importers must upload it into the GRA's ASICUDA system before declaring their goods. This ensures the proper vetting process between NARI, the importer, and the Guyana Revenue Authority. Our partnership with GRA ensures that agricultural products entering Guyana meet all safety and regulatory requirements. Protecting Guyana's agriculture is a shared responsibility. Apply for your import permit today and contribute to a safe and thriving agricultural industry. At the heart of Guyana's rice farming success is the Guyana Rice Development Board's state-of-the-art seed processing facilities across the country. Equipped with 10-ton dryers and seed cleaners, these facilities ensure the highest quality seed paddy for the nation's farmers. Our commitment to excellence in seed processing means that our farmers receive the best possible start for their crops, leading to healthier and more productive rice fields. Just a few months ago, we released a new variety, the GRDB 18, with a yield potential of more than 8 tons per hectare. We're also investing in the future with climate-smart rice varieties, ensuring our farmers are prepared for the challenges of tomorrow with possible launch by the end of 2025. The PPPC government, through the Guyana Rice Development Board, providing quality seeds and supporting our nation's rice farmers for a brighter, more resilient future. A message from the GRDB, Ministry of Agriculture. Well, that's all the time we have on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. Until next time then, be good to yourselves and to each other.